Hello everybody, welcome to the show, the Fgeitas Show. I'm your host, Fgeitas, once again, like delivering the news and what's going on in video game world every Thursday, right here on, you know, the Twitch thing that's happening. But first of all, welcome everyone in chat. Hey, Abscon, hey Mary, how you guys doing? Hey bloggers, hello. How are you? What's going on in this beautiful sunny Thursday actually, which is so weird. I know I have my curtains down for lighting purposes, but yeah, like it's sunny, which is so good. I was not expecting, to be honest, because I was waiting all the freaking week for my clothes to dry while hanged, you know, and everything got delayed. Everything got delayed, like the housing stuff, you know, the house chores got all delayed just because of this. But yeah, like so I said last week that I was planning to do something different. I thought I was going to do this show at 5 p.m. but we're gonna do the show as usual, you know, like we're gonna roll as usual at 3 p.m. all the way up to 5:30 p.m. until we hit the end of the news, or until we have, you know, the some questions for you, chat, that you guys can post on Discord that I'm gonna link here, or any news that you guys want me to check out. And then at 6, there's the first Xbox Direct for this year. That's gonna be like, I bet it's gonna be like around 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and I'm gonna be live in this channel as well. But also joining us will be Rufox, co-streaming on his channel as well, and we're gonna be like reacting to the stuff live. A lot of stuff like that we are expecting there. Like we're gonna watch, I believe it's Doom: The Dark Ages, because ID Soft's gonna be there. We're gonna see South of Midnight as well from Compulsion Games, and also there's Claire Obscura from Sandfall. Claire Obscure, I never know how to pronounce his name, but Expedition 33 from Sandfall Interactive. It's gonna be there's gonna be a small showcase there with a 4th mystery game that we don't know nothing about, although it's like sources say it's going to be a major entry in a legendary Japanese IP, according to some sources. I don't know what that means. Like, for me, it can be Persona, it could be Resident Evil, could be a new Ninja Gaiden, could be a new Tales, for all intended purposes. Like, I actually have no idea. But I expect, honestly, I believe it's going to be Persona, like, due to, you know, Sega and Microsoft now being all buddies with each other. I guess that makes sense. And we haven't seen a new Persona, actually new Persona, not a remastered, for like 5 years now, I believe. It's been freaking 5 years since Royale came out. I'm not going to say it's going to be a new Tales. I'm not going to say that it's going to be a new Tales, but the names were floating around, you know. But also a new Phantasy Star Online was floating around, and people are saying a lot of stuff lately. Which, you know, like at this point, for all I know, a legendary Japanese IP, Xbox could announce the new Mario right now. I mean, at this point, who knows, right? Everyone can say whatever. And everyone is saying a lot of stuff lately, especially since the Switch 2 got announced. Because, you know, like we are obviously, like, it's so funny because I had a lot of stuff planned to comment and to check the Xbox Direct and all that, and but this week has been absolutely crazy with the TikTok ban stuff, you know, the new presidency over at the US, and like all the you know apps going and apps coming back, resurrected from the dead and all that. I was like, okay, I don't even know like where to start. I was thought it was gonna be like a chill afternoon stream with, oh yeah, we're gonna watch Xbox and look at some games, and then suddenly like, oh, I got like 15 news that I want to comment on, and Jesus, I need to organize my thoughts. But yeah, like other than that, like I've been seeing a lot of rumors already. Like obviously rumors for the Switch 2 already are like, they are gone. But now we're starting like to see a new wave of rumors with a bunch of games that are totally unannounced. And I think it's so funny because people are already saying GTA 6 for Switch 2, and I'm like, no, dude, just that's not going to be a thing, at least for now. Okay, like, and I believe that console will not run GTA 6 unless there's like some weird shenanigans happening with the DLSS technology that they are supposedly implementing on that piece of hardware. But we see, I saw like Tekken 8. I saw people talking about GTA 6. I saw people talking about the what was it? Witcher 4. I heard ZA, and then I got a. You actually don't, because ZA actually was announced for the Nintendo Switch system and not the sequel to the Nintendo Switch system. So you're good. You're actually good on that front. You don't need to get a whole new console to play ZA. And we also don't know if ZA is gonna have a Switch 2 version, or if it's gonna be, or if there's gonna be like some sort of updates for the consoles, right? Because so far we know the console is backwards compatible with the Switch software mostly, okay? Because we still don't know exactly, but I realized, like, as I was watching the trailer last week, that there's no IR sensor anymore on the new Joy-Cons, right? So like I expect stuff like the Ring Fit Adventure, the Nintendo Labo stuff, some small stuff, you know, that like those mini games that use the IR sensor from the right Joy-Con. Those are definitely not gonna be there unless they let you connect the old Joy-Cons to the Switch 2, which would be dope. I like, and Nintendo has a habit of doing this stuff, if you remember, because like you can still plug GameCube controllers with the right adapter to the Nintendo Switch. So, you know, there's a chance. So yeah, they may already start working on it with Switch 2 in mind, so they might just do it for Switch 2. No. The game is announced for Nintendo Switch systems. Like it's in the like someone was commenting this on like during this week, and I'm like, no. There's no announcement of ZA for the Switch 2. Unless they could do it, but like the game has to come out on the Nintendo Switch 1, as they promised. If it's gonna run well or not, that's a whole different, you know, can of worms. Because we all know like how Pokemon games are optimized, to say the least, on that system. But yeah, and yeah, Ring Fit 2 might not happen unless they use another type. I mean, you have, so they showed like the Joy-Cons drifting and working like a mouse, right? Which supposedly there's some kind of infrared technology like you have on the current mouses, right? So there's hope in there. I don't believe it's gonna work, at least for what they use with the pulse checking thing, right? And also like but I was saying like the rumors already started, and I'm already seeing rumors of a Switch 2 Pro, and I'm like, come on, Like, please, let's not start this before the console even gets out. It's like we waited 7 years for a Switch Pro. That never happened. We got an OLED, but please, no Switch Pro. Okay, like I'm done. I'm done with these types of rumors. That being said, I was thinking about that mouse thing that they showed. Like, they didn't specifically stated that the Joy-Cons are gonna work as a mouse, right? And there's the rumor going around that it's gonna be this way, and I'm like, that's probably the last thing I wanted. That was my initial reaction, right? Like, cause I just think of me like holding a Joy-Con like this, and I'm like, I don't want this. Like, I don't want this at all. This seems so uncomfortable. I can see, like, obviously I can see possibilities, right? So, like, if you want to play Civilization, or if you want to play some strategy game, like what was the Advance Wars, right, on the Switch, or like even Mario Maker can really benefit from a mouse type of interaction with the level design when you're designing levels and placing stuff on screen. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, I can see this. It's not gonna. I hate that I have to get a surface to get this to work on, and I can't just wiggle, the mouse, because obviously it needs a surface, right? He has to have a surface to work. But then I saw a post on Reddit, or was it? I think it was on Twitter. I was just like, doom scrolling as one does, and I was doom scrolling, and someone said, "You know what would be really cool for the mouse Joy-Cons?" And I'm like, okay, Kid Icarus HD. A port from the 3DS, and I'm like, I'm fucking sold right now. Give me this shit. I want this in my veins. Which it's so funny because, like, I was not realizing the full vision, and then suddenly someone like, yeah, Kid Icarus, and I'm like, shit, yeah, they got me, And usually it's how Nintendo gets me. It's like, it's not with the hardware stuff. I've already stated several times, like in private conversations, that I'm the trailer didn't do much for me. It's like, yeah, it's a better Switch. It's what we expected to have. But there's always this kind of I'm not gonna say hope, but I love when Nintendo gets weird, okay? And they showed me like a Wii, or they showed me the DS, and like, yeah, now there's a dual screen. I'm like, oh shit, that's so cool. Like, how are they gonna do games for this, right? And seeing the Switch 2 is just a more powerful Switch. Like, yeah, I know this is what I expected. But usually it's the games, right? It's when they show us the games working with some weird stuff that they implemented. It's like, oh yeah, that's I see the vision now. Like, I don't care, like, whatever I said previously, because this shit looks dope. And yeah, I was instantly sold, like, getting a Kid Icarus. And even, like, let's face it, like, if the console actually works as well as they are intended, because the specs leaks everywhere, and like, I don't know if how much of this is actually true, but if they say it's gonna be an actual 2060, it's gonna be as powerful, or at least slightly less powerful, than my current graphics card, which is a little bit sad, to be honest. Not on them, but on me, because I haven't upgraded my computer for so long, and I was waiting for the new 50X cards to hit the shelves, and boy, those are quite expensive. Yeah, like, switch to playing games with the 2016 side, like, I can see some really cool ports of games. Obviously, like, we're not gonna go like 4 years from now and people will be like, oh yeah, like, this shit can run games at 4K and 120 FPS. Like, that's not gonna happen. We're not gonna see these ports. That's like, and like, people who think are absolutely delusional right now. But like I can see some really cool ports being implemented with their new, you know, gimmicky stuff, and with their powerful like DLSS tech as well. So yeah, that would be kind of cool. Switch, you know, like they somehow always manage to get me through the games, and like Nintendo once again like not chasing the hardware trend. It's so funny. That being said, we're gonna talk video games a little bit, just for a while, because I've been playing a lot of stuff. I downloaded a bunch of demos this week, and I ended up playing like half of them. Actually, not even half. I've played like 2, because there was a bunch of demos coming out and weird shit that I was looking forward to, but I ended up like playing more Disco Elysium again, because I'm still not done with that game, and I think I am a little bit stuck with Disco Elysium. I don't know where to go now. You know, I will find some way to progress through this game, but it's being I'm on that stage that I always encounter in these types of games, where I'm banging my head against the wall to try to figure out the solution, or what do I have to do. Oh no, I'm not ashamed to play Disco Elysium, that's for sure. I'm loving like every bit of interaction between both the character and the world, and the character within himself with the different attributes. It's so freaking good. Like that game surprised me. I already knew a little bit of how the game would be, but I wasn't expecting to even then still be so like so taken back for like the surprise of, oh shit, there's like that's a lot. There's a lot in this. And I'm currently like still like trying to go through the strike guys. I still have that guy on top of the gate that I tried to stupidly. I've tried to brawl with him, and obviously he kicked my ass, as you know, as expected. And yeah, it's not it's not going great. I'm banging my head against the wall and searching for an answer right now, and it's not working. I do need to put my head like back in the game full time, because I this week I played the first Berserker Kazan, which I think I can put some gameplay going here, just to give you guys an idea of let me see, demo full walkthrough. And I'm gonna hide this. I'm gonna go extra life. Sure, let's see Fighting Cup. Oh my god. I'm gonna give a shout out here to Fighting Cowboy. Where do I do the thing? Transition. Yeah, DNF has been really trying to expand their brand, that's for sure. So first of all, like I knew Dungeon Fighter Online, okay? Like I've played it a little bit. It was not my jam, okay? It was not really my jam, and I ended up dropping the game like in a couple of hours, because it's not my thing. I full demo walkthrough. Okay, that's better, because then we don't have like Fighting Cowboy there. And then they did the DNF duel with Arxis, and that game was coolish. I ended up trying it, and I think he had some interesting mechanics. And I know, Mary, that you also play fighting games, so you probably give it a shot as well. But the support from Arxis like was, let's face it, was not great, right? Like they released a bunch of characters, but from my understanding, they had Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising as well coming in that same year. and while working on Guilty Gear Strive as well. So like, yeah, we can't do much more from that game. But we already knew about like First Berserker, and this game is like, it's a Souls-like game with, you know, some new ideas. I'm not gonna say fresh takes, because it's not that much innovative as like compared to other types of Souls games from non-from software titles. I think it's good. I think like the demo hooked me, honestly, because that demo, like it's quite a long demo. I'm gonna say like in 2 hours or 3, you get the demo done, and you got like, I'm gonna say 2 bosses, and a bunch of weapons to try out. I'm gonna say story wise, I think it's okay. Like the demo kind of gives you a hint of the whole thing and the whole lore behind the story of Kazan, but at the same time, it's like it's so little that I'm like, okay, I yeah, sure, whatever. I'm here to beat people up, right? That's it. I something happened. I have a spirit inside my body, and now I need to fuck shit up. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's as video gamey as you can get, right? A good excuse for you to beat people up. But then you get to gameplay, and I think it's a little bit more. It's way more forgiving than like a traditional from software title. And like, first of all, like obviously there's a big emphasis on dodging and parrying. The window for parrying is so big that you can just spam the parry button and you'll be perfectly fine. Like if you never played Souls games in the past because you're like, oh yeah, this might be like a little bit too skill based for me, or like maybe it's too twitchy, and you don't like feeling that type of adversity from the game towards you, I'm gonna say you can play this game easily, and spam the parry button to just win fights. Okay, like you still need to, you can't play mindlessly, but it will be a lot more forgiving than you know, Dark Souls 1 or 2. It's closer to Sekiro, but Sekiro has a really tight parry window, for sure. So yeah, like if you had troubles in Sekiro, you might have a little bit of trouble here, but the game is more lenient in that regard. One thing to note though, that I find it so funny, because I was streaming on Discord for Blue Fox, and we were just talking about the game. He was seeing me play for the first time. I got to, like, you get the tutorial and the game explains you how to do the weapon things, like, oh yeah, you press this button to a light attack, you got a heavy attack, and you got a charge attack if you hold down the heavy attack, and you got the dodge button and the parry button, you know, the normal tutorial stuff. And the game lets you progress a ton, like up until the first boss, which is like a big yeti full of ice spikes on his. I think I can find it here. Let me see if I find the. There you go. Yeah. So you're fighting like this boss, which is a Yetuga, which is so funny because Tuga is slang for Portuguese people, you know. So immediately I start laughing. But this guy, like this guy will rock your shit. Like it's the first skill check in the game, and like it will take you a while to understand like the timings of the parry. But again, the timing is so forgiving that in like a couple of minutes you'll be fine. It has some special attacks, like there's an AoE attack from him, and some attacks that you really need to dodge unless you're gonna take damage. Although there's not a single attack that it's like a killing blow, right? There's no insta kills. And so I defeat this guy, and like after 4 or 5 tries, and the game gives me a prompt. Do you want to play this game on easy or do you want to play on normal? And I'm like, what? What do you mean? Like, I've just went through the first boss. What do you mean I want easy or normal? Like, shouldn't you be asking me this, you know, when I started? Like, before I touch the freaking controller? I don't know. Like, maybe it would be... Oh, yeah, there's one of these attacks that you really need to dodge. But it was so funny. Like, why are you giving me the prompt now? Because, like, it doesn't make any sense. Let me see if he shows, because... So, yeah, he's still fighting here. Okay, there you go. He's gonna kill the guy. Just a little bit more. Kills the guy, like, you get a bunch of stuff. Mission completed. And you're like, oh, cool, this is nice. And then the game just drops you. Oh, no, okay, he actually cut down that part, I think. But yeah, like, he gives me the prompt, easy or normal, and I'm like, huh, okay. Weird timing, I guess. But I guess I'm gonna go normal. I didn't have that much of difficulty. And then I chose normal, and it's fine. Like, I went through the rest of the demo like pretty easily, unless up until. And were you on default in easy or default in normal? I don't know. Oh, there you go. Easy or normal? Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't understand. That's the thing. Like, cause I think the game just puts you in normal. I mean, I think that's the logic, right? Like, you're normal, and if you felt a little bit of difficulty, or like if it was too much for you, okay, maybe I'll tone it down. But I can see the game doing the previous, the inverse way, right? Like, I can see the game going like, you played on easy, but if you want more challenging fights, maybe you should pick normal. It was so weird. Like, it was the most random ass prompt from a game that I ever seen. But cool, I guess. And then, like, the demo keeps up with... It's actually quite an extensive demo, which is kind of cool, because you do get the overall feeling of the game, and also the thing carries over for the main game if you happen to buy it. But yeah, like, it's... So, like, I advise everyone who looked at this and thought, hey, this looks kind of cool, like, just give it a shot, because the demo is out. It's on Steam. And you can just install... Oh, by the way, it's super well optimized. I was so shocked. So I'm playing these on PC. I don't have a PS5, right? It's only Switch or PC for me. And again, I have a 2060. It's not that much. I do have 96 gigabytes of RAM because, you know, being a video editor, Adobe just takes everything you got. And it's still not enough. But I started the game and, like, put the graphics on medium, because usually, like, you know, it's been 5 years for the 2060 release, and I'm like, okay, this probably won't do max settings, but, you know, just in case, let's see how this runs. And I got to the graphics setting, scaled everything to the max except for resolution, because I still play at 1080p. And I go back in game, and the game is hitting 60. Like, no chopped frames, no dropped frames, nothing. Just, like, smooth 60 frames at max resolution, max graphics. This is weird. Either the game is gonna, like, get me later, and, like, during big boss battle, the frames will drop like crazy, or, like, it's actually well optimized. So I went back again and turned on. Also turned on Hairworks from NVIDIA, or Hair Physics as they call it now, and the game's still hitting 60, and I'm like, what? What do you mean this game is optimized? Like, optimized game in 2025? That's not normal at all. Hey Alex, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. We're talking Kazan. So yeah, like, even if you have an underpowered system right now, you are fine to test this. I will. I bet this runs great on Steam Deck. I actually haven't tried it. But yeah, like, it's so weird to see games like optimized at 60 frames running quite clearly well at max settings in 2025 on such an underpowered system. I was very happy, right? Like I don't have many chances to play games at max settings right now. But the fact that like on a random demo from a spin-off of a very popular brawler MMO from I'm gonna say Korea or China right now, but it's an Asian MMO. Well, now I'm not sure where DNF comes from. But on this random spin-off, they decided to actually optimize everything, and I was so happy. Other than that, like the game has some, like, you can see there's some verticality. I don't think the level design is particularly outstanding. Okay, like I'm not saying it's bad or anything, but it's definitely linear, and you can see from a distance the, like, if you have a path going out of your way to get like some collectible, usually that collectible is like it's in plain sight, and you see it like, oh yeah, there's a hidden path here somewhere that I need to check out to get there. So like it's not Dark Souls levels of weirdness where you are going through an area and serpenting your way through weird zones, and then suddenly like, oh yeah, I'm back at the start, like there's a shortcut here, and now I'm back at where I was, but now I can just do the shortcut from here to whenever. When those situations happen in First Berserker Kazan, I saw that thing happening like a mile away. Especially like in the first, before the first boss, there's a cart that's like abandoned cart you can push to give you like a shortcut straight into the boss from the first bonfire, or whatever bonfire equivalent is in this game. And like as soon as you get to that bonfire, you see that cart there, and you see there's a path over, like going a little bit further than the cart. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get there, and there's probably like a shortcut because you can't jump. So like there's no jumping in this game. But as soon as I saw the cart, like, yeah, I'm gonna push that cart, and eventually I'll have the shortcut. So yeah, very linear, very very straightforward. There was like a couple of paths that kind of tried to scam you, you know, like you think it's right, but then it's left. And you follow your gut instincts. It's like, oh, there's a dead end now, and I need to go back. But even then, like most of the time, it's like, oh yeah, I got to the end of that fake path, and you see like a shortcut to get to the right path. I'm like, okay, this is cool. Like doesn't make me backtrack all the way. Although I lost like maybe 2 minutes, 5 if you count all the battles. But the fact that they give you the option to just like go straight into the main path, it's fine. That is First Berserker Kazan from the Dungeon Fighter Online team. I don't know. Game's gonna be 60, I believe. Game is gonna be 60. Just checking it out on Steam, just to make sure I'm not mistaken. First Berserker, because that's going to be 60 exactly. 60 and 70 for the deluxe edition that gives you what? No, relax. No trailers for you. Where's the pre-order bonus? Pre-order bonus gets you an armor set, and the deluxe edition bonus gets a hero weapon set and hero's armor set. Probably it's cosmetics. Like, you do have stats in the game. I don't think this will make any difference, like in the long run. And you got 72 hours early access, which is something I don't like that much. And it's actually in today's news one of the points that I want to talk about. But yeah, highly recommended. Like, so far the demo was pretty cool. And look, there's a demo. It's free. You can try it out. that being said, I think we're gonna move on to the news. I have a bunch of stuff here, and guys, we're not supposed to see this. Guys, we're not supposed to see this, but now you've seen it. That's my desktop. Yes, it's Dan. I'm still hooked on it. Not the news. My God, what's happening in the news? Unfortunately, we do have some cool news, honestly. But this week was that's a lot. This week was a lot of news for sure. So Sony has canceled 2 more live service games, I thought. Okay. And I'm gonna say I thought because they canceled the God of War stuff in development. We're gonna get to this. Like I have so many thoughts about a God of War live service, but Bend Studio and Bluepoint got their game shut down. Okay, so these two things that were in development were canceled. You know, like another live service from Sony that's getting the axe. It's the 7th live service, the 6th and the 7th live service that we know of that they are canceling. So I thought, and I think I didn't open this other news because it's not the 7th, it's actually the 8th. My God, there was an Horizon massive multiplayer online RPG that was also canceled. So this week it's like three live services that were canceled on the part of Sony, and like I don't know what Sony's doing. Like I think there's 2 things. Okay, so this I'm gonna pull out these lists from Real Radek that I actually posted this on my Twitter, and then Real Radek actually had posted his list updated with the original post. And right now they had 17 live services like going on. Okay, like some are released. We got Destruction All Stars from Lucid Games. I don't know how much. I don't know if that game did well. Okay, like but it's there. It's up. It's fine. Gran Turismo 7, which I forgot it was a live service. And this is so weird to say, but yeah, Gran Turismo 7 is doing fine. Okay, like they sold well. I don't know if they're making like that much profit on microtransactions on Gran Turismo, but fine. Okay. Helldivers, of course. Everyone heard about Helldivers. It's going well. Probably their biggest success last year, and they were not counting on this. And obviously, like we know the Concord story, it's not great, but that one was actually released and taken offline or shut down, as it says here in the image. And like, sure, yeah, okay. Then we have some things to be determined. We have Fair Games from Haven Studio. We don't know what this is. We got an Horizon multiplayer game, okay, which is different from this one. Thanks for the app. It's different from this one. This was a massive multiplayer online, okay? But there's also an Horizon multiplayer game being developed by Guerrilla Games. So this is what we know, okay? At this time of that I'm reading this news to you, you know, things may have changed. Marathon, which we actually saw a trailer from Bungie, which is a 5v5, I think it's an extraction shooter. Again, very, very close to what Concord was doing, although Concord was more like a hero shooter, but it was also like 5v5. So Marathon is like going into that same space. 3 unannounced projects from Jason Blundell's LA studio. Media Molecules, which you might know from Dreams, okay? And a game named Bungie from Gummy Bears. Okay, I don't know if this is Bungie developing Gummy Bears or if it's Gummy Bears developing a game named Bungie, but it's unannounced. Hey Luna, welcome to the stream as well. And then we get no, it's not a Switch 2 games leak, although maybe. And then we get the Horizon MMO that we talked about, The Last of Us Online, which was also cancelled. Twisted Metal. Honestly, Twisted Metal might be the thing that I'm most surprised about, because I think Twisted Metal actually may have worked as a live service game. In a weird fashion, I think Twisted Metal would actually work. But then you have Spider-Man: The Great Web. There's actually leaked footage of Spider-Man out there. I'm not going to show it, like, out of respect for the devs. London Studio live service game. We don't even know what this game was, but it's not happening anymore. And then we got the God of War live service game by Bluepoint and Bend Studio live service game, also cancelled. We don't know what that was. So, first of all, God of War. We heard about this God of War, like, being in development for the longest time. And one of the first thoughts that came to me was, are they making a God of War Ascension 2 for some reason? And if you guys don't remember, God of War Ascension actually had a multiplayer. So, like, a God of War multiplayer thing was not that weird to begin it. I mean, it was weird. Ascension was weird, okay, aside from the actual story, but Ascension was kind of weird. But that was my first thought, right? It's like, okay, Ascension 2 for some reasons. And especially out of Bluepoint, which is even weirder, right? But no, like, and like eventually we learned that, like, they were turning this into a live service thing out of nowhere. And we know that because it got canceled, right? So first of all, like, what has been told to me, which I do actually have a small source. What has been told to me is that Bluepoint Games was a little bit sick of, maybe not sick is not the right word, but they were getting a bit tired of only doing remasters. They are super good at what they do, okay, but they were kind of like, they wanted to change gears a little bit, so they wanted to try a different, like, a new game from scratch. Do they wanted to do a God of War live service game? I don't think so. Okay, so this was the bone that Sony threw at them, and like, okay, you can do the God of War stuff, I guess. And they're like, okay, I guess it's better than. I guess it's better than remastered Bloodborne, I guess, right? But yeah, like, I totally understand, like, the devs being completely burned out on doing remasters every time, so they want to do their own thing. Completely fine. I don't get turning God of War into a live service game. Like, that makes zero sense to me. That makes no sense at all. And it's a shame, like, it's a shame, because Bluepoint could have been doing, like, so many stuff that they have, like, IPs that they are that are in the back burner for Sony, but eventually, like, they got, like, the short end of the stick. Hopefully there's new projects that they can hop on, right? And, like, hopefully this doesn't lead to more developers being laid off, okay? But, like, Sony, so, like, I know there's, like, a bad sentiment around live service games. I don't think live services are a big problem, in the sense of, like, I don't think those are bad games, like, when viewed, like, from as a separate thing. Like most of the live service games that are currently, like, up and running are not bad games at all. The problem is that I feel Sony is betraying the customer base that they've built, like, throughout the years, with all the so like the cinematic experience thing that they've been building since, you know, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, with Uncharted, with the Last of Us, you know, like most of the cinematic experience that they've, like the big budget cinematic AAA experiences is what Sony is known for right now. And then pivoting for 17 live service games, it's like, it's a kick in the nuts of your fan base. And again, I'm not saying these games would never have worked, right? Because they could work. Like Helldivers worked as hell. Ha! Helldivers, that was not intentional. I'm so sorry. I could see Twisted Metal, like, with a little bit of elbow grease actually working. I feel like maybe not as a car combat arena thing, but maybe as a World of Tanks kind of experience. You know, like free-to-play game, you would upgrade your vehicle with different weapons and all that stuff. And again, I'm not a fan of World of Tanks, but I can see it. You know, which is so weird that that's one of them that got cancelled. But the problem with these games is that they do require Too bad Great Web wasn't just an action RPG with you playing as Spidey across the multiverse. It was from the leaked footage that I saw, was basically co-op missions with Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Again, like, that could have been fun, but you do need to maintain these games for the longest time, right? Because if you want to do... the problem is that, you know, companies look at like stories of... no, you're not alone. I think this list will grow during this year. Maybe there's a small hope in me that the failure of Concord, because it was a really big nasty failure for Sony, put the brakes on this, and they went like, oh shit, like maybe betting our chances on so many stuff at the same time, all on the same spectrum, maybe it was not this good of an idea, and they traced back, right? But yeah, like, the problem is that studios look at success stories like, you know, Fortnite. They look at stories like Roblox. I'm saying Roblox here with the most utter disgust, okay? And they look at what those games are making, not in terms of quality or like actual gameplay, but what they're making in terms of money. And like, they look at numbers from like they look at every other industry, right? So like, if an industry has a trend and it's giving money, they're going to try to copy the same thing. The problem here is that this is like a creative industry, which means that formula does not always work as they want it, right? And what's going to happen is that they look at like Fortnite and they strip it down to the most basic of what that game is. It's like, oh, what's happening? And it's like, oh, it's Fortnite. It's a live service game. They have constant updates and they give you skins and all that. And they're like, we're going to make one of those as well. But they don't understand why Fortnite is working so well with the fan base. And I read a lot of stuff like, yeah, there's not only so much room for live service games. That's also a big factor. But I also feel that if the game has like something attached to it, because like we can see like Concord failed, right? Concord failed, but Helldivers is there. Helldivers came out of nowhere, like a sequel to a top-down shooting game, a twin-stick shooter, right? And it's surviving, okay? So like right now it's 50-50 for them, if you look at these two examples. But then you look at Marvel Rivals, and Marvel Rivals is actually doing pretty well, okay? So like, they kind of want to... They look at what they're interested in, and not for much for the failures, but they're going to look at Marvel Rivals and be like, see? that it still works, right? Like Marvel Rivals, like it's a new live service game just launched, and now it's on the top of the charts. But they are kind of forgetting that Marvel Rivals as one of the biggest IPs of all time, and currently, right now, attached to it, right? Like it's fucking Disney and Marvel. It's not some random characters that we never saw before, like Concord. Not saying those characters were bad, right? But you don't have the nostalgia and emotional attachment that some people have to some Marvel characters, right? And they kind of tend to blindside on this aspect. Like, yeah, okay, like this game worked. Why isn't ours working? And like, is your game Marvel? And I'm like, no. Well, duh. Which makes sense, like that they bet so much on their current IPs, right? So that's why they were betting on the God of War live service. They were betting on the Spider-Man, the Twisted Metal, Last of Us, Horizon, and so many like other stuff that they have. But the problem here is that they only bet on this. Like there was a shift all of a sudden where they went, yeah, now live service games is the future, let's go. And some of you are probably old enough. I know Abscon is probably remembers this, and Nuno as well. If you look back at the at early 2010s, maybe late 2000s, okay? How many MMOs like were launched and either canceled or launched and ended up like failing after less than a year, right? Right, everyone was chasing the WoW trend, right? And I'm like, yeah, what was at its peak at that time? Like, I'm not saying like obviously it's still like giving a bunch of money, but what was at its peak back then? And everyone went, oh yeah, like MMOs, everyone wants to play an MMO. Look at this, it's so successful. And suddenly, like, you got the market flooded with shit tiers MMOs. Exactly, like you try 2 to 3 MMOs per month, all Korean, like Ragnarok Online stuck. You got more. You got like Guild Wars. It's still there, right? Some games like Conan MMO. I remember Conan. I sold that game at the store. Yeah, the famous dangling penis. Have a good meeting, Leo. Good luck. Yeah, you guys probably remember that thing, right? And it was not, some were actually kind of all right, but there were so many, right? There were so many MMOs coming out left and right, and everyone's like, oh, I'm so tired of this fucking trend right now. And after a while, like, everything was MMOs and nothing was MMOs, because only WoW was surviving that shit, because, you know, they got there first and they got their fan base. And it would happen that a WoW patch would hit and everyone's like, oh, this patch fucking sucks, I'm going to the new thing that's gonna be the WoW killer. But they would come back like two months later, right? Sometimes not even 2 months, sometimes like a week would be enough, and like, yeah, this is actually better, you know, like the patch was not that bad, turns out. And it's the same thing. Terra Online, Toontown, Wizard, 1-on-1. Yep, exactly. A bunch of those that I remember. Star Wars MMO, like even things with big IPs attached, like Star Wars MMOs, Warhammer, I believe there was also a thing that came out. We talked Conan, like, I don't know, like, I bet if you type in Google 10, you know, top 10 MMOs that failed in the 2010s, like, you get several lists with several different entries. And it's crazy to me that, like, after so many years, we look at this industry and this, you know, executives running big places like Sony, and they can't realize that there was a Lord of the Rings one as well. Exactly, there was. Don't remember the name now. But like they can't realize that, like, we're gonna flood our own market Oh, this happened again, by the way. Like, if I remember this happening again with the Guitar Hero by Activision, right? Activision flooded its own market by doing like 3 or 4 Guitar Heroes in a row in the same year. And you're like, what are you guys doing? Like, the average consumer is not gonna buy $360 or $460 games in a single year if they all look alike, right? And you can't do that. Like, it's impossible for them to. They're gonna be people like me. Okay, I'm one of those perverts that bought all of the Guitar Heroes in that year. Okay, I bought Band Hero, I bought Guitar Hero World Tour, Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Metallica. But I'm not the target audience. Okay, like if you're one of those guys that has like a game collection on your wall, like. You're not the target audience because they know you're gonna buy it, okay? But if you're catering this to a more casual audience, that's what if they sold music packs for $3 instead, they would have been filthy rich. That's what their competitor did, and they actually lasted a lot more. They still went down then, but Neopets actually is a weird story because they got bought several times, actually, and they changed developers, I believe. But yeah, like, but Neopets is more. I'm gonna say it's easier to maintain than a Star Wars MMO. I think doesn't matter. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You still need development costs and people spending money on them. But it's so weird, like, yeah. Sony, what are you doing? That's my question to you. That's my question for Sony. Like, what I think this is gonna have a very big impact on Sony in the next years, because we're already talking PlayStation 6, right? We are talking PlayStation 6 in 3 years from now. And if games take so much to develop right now, this pivot is gonna cost people a lot of jobs, first of all, which is the thing that worries me the most. And second, there's gonna be like a big gap to fill from first-party Sony studios that they have nothing in the middle, right? Like, you're gonna have the new Last of Us, gonna have Wolverine for sure. You're gonna have maybe the new X-Men game that got leaked. But holy shit, that's not a lot, right? Like, they're gonna rely on third party, and they're actually doing pretty well, which is, I guess, pretty lucky that they're doing so well in third party services, right? Like, Square Enix has a big good relationship with them and other studios, but like, Jesus, it's so weird, like, Again, I don't dislike live services. I've played a few share of live services. I don't think they're the cancer of the industry, okay? But if you're only doing live services, I think you should reconsider what you're doing, most of all. Blue Pine's not like, oh, I guess we should have done that Bloodborne Remastered. Bloodborne Remastered, according to Miyazaki, needs to be him working on them, so I get it. But they can do a lot of more stuff. Like, they could remaster some medieval game, or remastering some Parappa the Rapper, anything. Like, they are good at what they do. There's so many games. They could remaster a Siphon Filter. I bet they would do great. I would love to see a Siphon Filter. Yeah, the medieval remake, it's a game. Let's put it this way. In the meantime, let's get into oh boy. We're gonna get into a real roller coaster now. We're gonna get into a real roller coaster, because at the beginning of the week, or I guess end of last week, a bunch of apps were shut down. Okay. Yeah, see you in a bit, man. Thank you for dropping by. We're gonna see like a total roller coaster as we talk about this Marvel Snap being banned in the US thanks to the bizarre link to TikTok shutdown, right? This was reported by Forbes. Like Snap was also owned by ByteDance, that was also the company from that also owns TikTok. But turns out, in a plot twist, they were not banned because they went back online, right? Like that's the plot twist. And now they're looking for a new publisher, which that's it's so unfortunate, right? Like the TikTok ban and all the, you know, like Trump administration got in and they reverted the decision that they themselves kind of did in 2020, but that was carried by the Biden administration. But then like Biden was like, yeah, I'm gonna leave this for Trump when he gets back here, you know, and he did, and it's like, I'm gonna save you all from the stuff that I did. Schrodinger's America, Schrodinger's Snap, I think. And now the developer is looking for a new publisher to avoid, you know, stuff like this. Which, you know, I really like Marvel Snap. I think it is an actual like pretty cool card game for a mobile device. Okay. And obviously, like, I don't have this much attachment to the games that I play on my phone, because it's a crapping game, you know, like it's a game where you go to the toilet and play a couple of rounds, or you are like waiting for something and play a couple of rounds. But there's like hardcore players everywhere, obviously. And what I see here is like, okay, I think I've paid like one battle pass or two, mostly. But there's people like putting money here and getting like pulls every day and spending their money on this game, right? And now like they can't, like this breaks the trust in the publisher and in the developer, as in like, I don't know if I should put more money into this, because we don't know like if, you know, this is gonna go away in a week or two because suddenly they reverted the decision again, which is kind of weird. Nuna says China is evil unless it's Black Myth Wukong because they're one of us, but Chinese products are spying on us whenever I use my Chinese mobiles where it's okay. Now applying that on brands and software. Yeah, I think they finally like are considering gamers a menace to society, and that's why they're doing this, to be honest. But yeah, it's not great. It's not great for Marvel Snap to be in this position, because I do think they had one of the freshest takes on the market of a trading card game. It's quick, it's snappy. Get it? Because it's Marvel Snap. I'm doing this when it's not on purpose. It was not on purpose. I swear, it was not on purpose. God, and well, it's cool, right? It's a game where you stop for a little while and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do like a couple of matches, and you just do it. Oh yeah, like we're not gonna even go there with, you know, like fuck them. That's what. And yeah, Marvel Snap like not in a good position for the future, you know. Like I hope they get a new publisher and they get out of harm's way of these stupid tariffs. And in the meantime, there is hope that GTA 6 will cost as much as $100, says an analyst. I'm gonna say this, okay? And there's two takeaways from these piece of news, okay, that I read. So this was Matthew Ball on Epillion. Okay. This was Matthew Ball on Epillion. They released a thing called State of Video Gaming in 2025 report from MatthewBall.co. And like, if you want to read it, it's 24 pages. I'm 224 pages. I'm not gonna show you guys this. Like, have fun. if you guys want to read it after. But analysts say a lot of things, okay? So that's the first thing. They can say whatever they want. And I do think there's hope in some people. I'm not going to say the industry, okay? Because encompassing the industry as a whole singular entity, hoping that GTA 6 costs $100, it's a pretty big generalization, okay? If not too big. It's gonna be 99.9. Yeah, god damn it, like we're so close. He had one job, Rockstar. No, the truth is, like, analysts say a lot of things, obviously, like, and not all come to fruition. That being said, I know there's people out there, okay, I'm gonna call them psychos. There are psychos out there that they would pay 100 euros or $100, whatever, 120 euros here maybe, that will pay this price for GTA 6. I get it, okay? It's the most hyped up game of all time. A lot of fans, okay? And it will still sell pretty well, okay? Like, I don't even think it's even a question, because, you know, it's GTA. GTA 6 could cost 150 and it would still sell well, in my opinion, okay? Like, I think the hype surrounding this game is so much that it's impossible for this game to undersell, okay? But the hope is, it's not about GTA 6 coming to in like $100, right? It's the hope that because GTA 6 will cost $100, the other games will also bump the price to $100. And I'm gonna tell you, you guys are out of your fucking mind, okay? Like, there's no fucking shot you guys are gonna do this for every fucking AAA game. Because every AAA game is not GTA. That's simple as that. Like, you guys are crazy. Like, I don't see... I see them trying, though. Like, I can see them trying. That's for sure. I can see Ubisoft, like, launching the next Assassin's Creed after Shadows to 100, of course. I mean, games already cost kind of 100 if you think about it, because you got the battle passes and you got the expansion packs and the DLCs and all that. Like, it's some of them are more than 100 now. But I don't see this going very well for most Assassin's Creed after Shadows. So like it's Assassin's Creed Sun, I guess, or Light. I don't know. But I don't see this going very well. Like, I don't see this going very well to those that try to follow the footsteps of Rockstar and 2K. Not at all. Because it's very easy to look at GTA 6 and the budget that's been spent on it and be like, yeah, I can see why this game costs $100. Okay, but most AAA games right now, you will look at them and like, they are nowhere near the quality of a GTA. And I'm talking like from a guy that really doesn't like GTA where it's right now. Okay, like I didn't like 4, I didn't like 5. I'm not interested in GTA 6 for sure. I'm interested in the tech side of things, obviously, but I'm not gonna buy this game. But it's undeniably a game that moves a lot of people. Obviously. But yeah, like, I mean, 70 is already what's in it, right? Because 70 is like the current things for the current price for AAA mostly, right? I believe. Also to note, like, a few years ago, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was 2K CEO. I might be misquoting this, so don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it, but I think it was Take-Two CEO or 2K CEO that said consumers are ready. I think this was like 2020, 2021. Consumers are ready to have the game's price bump to 80. And I'm like, motherfucker, no they won't. No they aren't. What the fuck, dude? Like, we just went through a global pandemic. We went through, like, my generation has been through, like, what, 2 economic crises? 3, maybe? We aren't. God damn it. We want to buy houses. Not buy, you know, fucking Assassin's Creed for $80. I want to eat. I also want to play the new Assassin's Creed, but I also want to eat. And if push comes to shove and I need to choose between both of them, I'm not gonna eat a disc or digital download. I'm gonna fucking buy some apples. God damn it. But yeah, like I don't know. Like I don't see games overall rising, okay, to $100 in general. Okay, GTA maybe. In general, so soon, maybe not. Okay. Unless, here's the plot twist. Unless... Oh no! Oh no! We're back at it again. Not the tariffs. Not the tariffs! My god! A terrible tariff has hit the market. And, oh boy. I don't want to... I hate talking politics, okay? I hate talking politics on stream or off stream. You probably realize I'm a leftist overall, right? I mean, I live in a socialist republic, which means, like, obviously I'm not too inclined to like Trump's policies overall. I'm not gonna say like he can't have anything that it's actually like makes sense, but it remains to be seen. if you get my drift. But yeah, proposed tariff on imports from Mexico to the US and also Canada. I think the thing is it's not mentioning Canada, but also Canada. Oh yeah, there you go. Canada and Mexico, as well as China. So this is coming from Matt Piscatella, from Circana. In his report, he says that Trump administration is considering imposing a 25% duties on imports from Canada and Mexico on February 1st over illegal immigrants and fentanyl crossing into the US, as reported by Reuters. First of all, what? They're not the illegal immigrants and the fentanyl crossing the border. God damn it! Especially the fentanyl, you know, like the fentanyl crosses alone. But yeah, like with the 25 tariffs on imports from Mexico on the way, I can see a sharp downtick in the number of disc-based games that get released physically in the US, as much of the production infrastructure is in Mexico, wrote Piscatella on Blue Sky. And I think this is what... Oh my god, we're gonna go there. Aren't we? Aren't we? We are gonna go there. We're gonna talk politics. I hate talking politics. But Jesus. When I started doing this 3 weeks ago, I was like, I'm gonna try and keep politics away. Like I don't want to discuss politics. You know, I'm a leftard. I don't wanna talk this. But then Trump come along and like, haha, look at this. You're gonna have to talk about it, right? Fuck. So here's the problem with the tariffs, right? I understand the wanting of the American people to have industry that's based with American made people, okay, or things that are produced in America by Americans, because, you know, turns out people like to earn money. Weird, I know. No one saw that coming. Because apparently people like to eat and they need to eat. So obviously, like a lot of people want more investment in America's industries, which you know, like saying that like that. Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense, except the things that you are like producing right now and that you are buying are not made in America, and you kind of need that to have, you know, an industry there before implementing this type of stuff, right? Like, I think for some, I hope like this is just a wrong perception on my end, but I believe that they were expecting to say that, hey, we can produce Nintendo Switches to over in the US, or we can do our own computers. Yeah, right. It's always because of inflation, of course. But I really think that my understanding, obviously, like as a non-American guy living in Portugal and looking at this from the outside, okay, so like take this with whatever you will, however you will. I think people thought that they had an industry of chip manufacturers, of hardware manufacturers, all inside the US, okay? And obviously, like, I don't think you need to know this. I don't think anyone is obliged to know anything ever, okay? But if you're doing these types of decisions, maybe you should. Right, yeah, like they thought the hardware was 100% American, and it's just not. It's just not. You're gonna have to pay the 25% duties on imports. God damn it. Right? And obviously, like this affects disc-based games, as the report said. But it's also gonna affect the digital ones. Like I think it's obvious that it's gonna affect digital ones because there's. I'm not sure if this is a law or if it's like one of those unspoken rules of business where they're like, hey, if you are selling games for this price in physical, digital needs to be the same way, as to not be a disadvantage of buying the game in digital form, right? Like obviously you already have those disadvantages in place, as like with the ownership, that's like there's been talks lately about it. There's the but I mean you also have disadvantages in physical. You can lose the disc, right? You can the disc can deteriorate. You can, you know, the dog may eat your Nintendo Switch cart. It happened. It might happen, you know? Like I've seen that happen actually. Not to me, thankfully. But there's an unspoken rule of like we're gonna keep prices the same. Otherwise, like you're gonna have an unfair advantage with one or another. It's no law. It's like gas. If the gas goes up in one place, there's no harm in increase gas in your place. Of course, like if my competition is earning $2, why should I be earning $1, right? And I understand, but this should happen the other way around, right? Like with digital being less and less prevalent, it would be cool for digital to go cheaper, right? But it's not happening, and it turns out it's the opposite of happening. It's going up. It's going up, and you're gonna pay more for games. If this actually goes on. And like Matt also says, it's not good for the physical video game market. I think it's not good for any. That's not how companies work, right? It's not good for the physical video game market. I don't think it's good for any market, digital or physical, to be honest, because everything is going up in prices. Netflix just announced it's going to raise the price as well, and like it gets to a point where people are just saturated of paying more and more and more for stuff, right? And first you have no choice because you you either pay or you don't have it. But then at some point the choice becomes, do I get this new game or do I pay my bills, right? Hopefully not. But it can come to that extreme, okay? And like no one wants that situation to happen. No one wants to like live a miserable life where your only options is to work and go to sleep. Oh yeah, like, and I'm not gonna even touch the pirate game things because, oh boy, I expect a rise in piracy in the upcoming years. And it's so funny that I'm talking about piracy because Mr. Augusto loves piracy, doesn't he? I know he doesn't. Mr. Augusto, thank you for the raid. I'm gonna just gonna go a little bit in just chatting just to welcome raiders. Welcome raiders. I'm Fgeitas. You guys probably know me from Augusto chat. I'm usually there, but talking Portuguese. Let me send you an SO because I got SOs now, Augusto. Can you believe it? Fantastic. Did this work? Okay, it did.
Estava a jantar, muito bem, tinha acabado de jantar, estava no telemóvel e do nada começo a sentir assim uma cena no cabelo. E eu pensei que fosse só tipo gel, às vezes, ou pronto, estou habituado a ter gel, neste caso eu uso cera, mas estou habituado a ter gel, e o gel às vezes parece que solta, pronto. E eu pensei que fosse isso, então fiz assim ao cabelo e senti qualquer coisa na mão e mando assim para a mesa. Conforme mando assim para a mesa, tenho lá uma vespa. Yeah.
So yeah, okay, I need to put this a little. Okay, you had something you had something in your hair. I didn't realize what it was. I didn't realize what exactly it was, but I'm scared now. Am I low as well? Be so quiet. How you all stream like this? Because I suck at mixing audio. That's what you have. That's what happens when you work in YouTube and Twitch for 10 years, but you are always behind the scenes. That's what happens. You know. That's so funny. God damn it. You had a wasp in your hair. Oh shit. You have fucking wasp. I would die on the spot. First of all, because also I'm allergic to bee stings, so I would probably die actually, like for real. Can I say that? Can I would be unalive in seconds. And oh my god, like that's not good. Yeah, welcome raiders. We were talking about, oh my, you went I can hit honey. Yeah, I can. You came at just the right time where we were talking about the dreaded news about the freaking tariffs. About the freaking tariffs and physical games going up in price. Where I was saying I don't like to talk politics in my stream. I didn't want to talk politics in my stream, but you know, these tariffs are not good, and they're gonna raise up physical game prices, which in turn are probably gonna rise digital prices, and it's not good for anyone, especially not American people. But because America also affects the rest of the world, it's probably gonna affect us too. So get ready. And we are talking now, like Mary was saying. At this point, I rather just pirate games, and I'm like, I'm not gonna say you should do it, okay? But I'm gonna say I expect a rise. I expect a rise in piracy in the upcoming years if GTA 6 comes out at 100 euros. I'm not gonna say GTA 6 is not gonna sell if it's 100 euros or 120 euros, as it probably is gonna be if they go for the $100 here. But I'm gonna say that if other games follow up, I can see a rise in piracy in the AAA space. Because honestly, people are getting tired of the shit. They're getting really tired, man. And you know, like if the choice comes to I want to have a little bit of fun, but I also want to pay my bills. You know what's gonna happen, right? Like, I think people would rather pay their bills. I might be wrong, okay? I might be wrong, okay? It's just me. So I'm talking from a personal standpoint. I rather have my bills completely paid, okay, than not paid, okay? And yeah, like, obviously what we discussed was like GTA 6 can be $100 and it will still sell well, for a lot of reasons. Like, it's not even just consoles first and not PC at the same time. It's GTA, right? Like, it's the most hyped up game of all time. Right? Like, it's GTA. They're gonna sell. But if other games try to follow up in their footsteps, oof, oh boy, people are not gonna be happy. Because I don't think. Yeah, and also keep in mind that a lot of those bills are also inflated as hell, because it's if the government, so it really is just a hell KG. I damn it, I lost their of their own making. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I'm dumb. I wish I knew how to read. But yeah, like, obviously games are a luxury, right? Games are a luxury, and I'm not saying people should pirate games, obviously. But in the wake of rising adversity, in the wake of rising economic adversity, some people might opt in for alternative strategies of acquiring games, especially the AAA games that try to go for 100 euros and people are not seeing their value, right? Like, okay, so let's give an example, okay? GTA 6 comes out at like with a price point of 100, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I can see why game takes a shit ton of time to make, a shit load of money. And you can clearly see, like, the game comes out perfect, okay? It's a 10 out of 10 across the board. And they're like, okay, 100. We're gonna do this by 100. Okay, cool. Okay, cool, right? We're in. And then EA comes in, and they're like, we're gonna launch a new game. And it's Rivals of Aeternum 2. Or whatever, Immortals of Ivernum, whatever that game was called, 2. And you know, that game was a stretched AAA, a very good AA, I would say, okay? It was a very good AA. And EA's like, okay, you have a subscription, sure, you can have a subscription, but people are already paying for 7 subscriptions, not counting, you know, their normal utilities. I'm not going to count the water bill or the electricity bill or whatever. Okay, I'm gonna say you are paying for Netflix, you are paying for Amazon, you are paying for DoorDash, you are paying for Amazon Prime, and you are paying for Spotify, and you are also paying for Xbox Game Pass is a bad example because there's games and EAs in it, but you're paying like a lot of stuff right now, okay? And you look at the games like, another 20 euros for another subscription so I can play this game for like maybe a month. Actually, no, but yeah, sure, it could be Immortals. Okay, it could be. It's a good example as well. Although I do think that game had a little bit more quality than the one I was referring to. It was like one that was like first person shooter, but with magic. It looked like a Skyrim, but it was a linear experience. It was kind of weird. Then hey Andre, welcome to the stream. And imagine, like, people are gonna choose, you know, to not pay for that game, but they are gonna be kind of interested, right? Like, maybe I'll try it. I'm gonna get this game somewhere, okay, else, not your subscription service, not the physical edition, and not the digital edition. I'm gonna buy this game somewhere else. And obviously we're talking like free in the web, okay? Because you know, at the end of the day, if it's available, people will find out ways of getting the game if it's easier than paying for it, okay? And it's not like you publishers can't do anything about it unless they're smart and they're like, we need to do games at a reasonable price for the consumer to afford them, okay? And if they keep bumping up the prices like this, like, it's gonna be stupid. People are not gonna be happy. Unless they're smart. Yeah, sorry, like, I fucked up there, right? Unless they're smart and everything fucked up. Obviously, this leads us to other things in the game industry. Obviously, like, because if games don't sell well, then more layoffs are happening, right? And as reported by videogamechronicles.com, 11% of the game developers surveyed by GDC last year were affected by layoffs. Or rather, they were reported by being laid off in the past 12 months, which is up 7% from last year. There's also a bunch of other statistics, like 41 respondents said that they've been impacted by layoffs, up from 35% from last year, and 4% said their studios were shut down over the past year, and the reasons being restructuring, declining in revenue, and market shifts, industry trends. This all comes back around to what we were talking about Sony in the beginning of the stream, and you know, all these stupid live services that Sony was doing or is doing. We don't know. Like, there's 4 remaining, we hope, and hopefully people get to keep their jobs. And yeah, unless they are smart, and certainly not counting with Rini in this case. I think it's not consumers that need to be smart. I think business people need to look ahead better and realize if they are digging themselves into a big grave. And you know, if they don't see that grave coming, they like, things are not going to go well, right? Like, there's, if you want to talk about this, like, if you want to tie this with another piece of news that I think, like, it's also important, but I didn't put it here, and then we go on a little break. Another Trump administration policy that they are like undoing, it's the 1969 Working Rights Civil Rights Act of something, I forgot the name now, but it's basically the equity bill for working rights, okay? Like, with hiring people in, like, from, like, with having diverse teams working for them, okay? And people are forgetting, obviously, like, there's a lot of talk about the DEI in the industry and the diversity and inclusion, and it's ruining games. God damn it, these people are hiring, are making these all my characters gay and trans, and games used to be shut up, okay? Like, fuck you, first of all. Fuck you, first of all. Like, it's not, okay? And second, that bill was created after like I'm gonna say this in the least like amazing way possible, but after a big push from Martin Luther King, you know, because basically what that bill was is like, okay, you had an American, right? Also, this is not even about race or like gender, or it's not about it's also another class of American people called the poor people, okay? The poor people, also not discriminating poor people, because if there's one thing rich people hate, is poor people. It's not about race, it's about you being poor, okay? You're below them. But so this act was enacted in, I think, 1969, and Trump wants to get rid of it, obviously, because at the time, like, what you would have is like, okay, you can hire one American for, let's say, $100, right? You would pay $100 for an American citizen to work, or you could pay 50. Crazy, right? They pulled this shit on Martin Luther King's birthday. It just stacks up, right? Like, I'm gonna use the word I'm gonna use the word like interesting, okay? Because I don't want to say anything else, okay? Because I don't want to sound crazy. But it's a fucking shit show. So basically, this would prevent people from like, okay, I can hire an American guy for $100, or I can hire one Mexican for 50. And obviously, business are gonna hire the cheaper person, right? Obviously, because it's labor costs. And this law came in and said you need to pay people the same amount, right? Like, regardless of they're being Mexican, they're being poor, they're being white, you know, Chinese, whatever. Like, if people are getting your job, that means like you need to pay them a fair wage. Fair wage, actually, not really. You need to pay them the same. Fair wages, it's a different story. But you know, at the time, businesses were like, this is gonna cost us, all of the business are gonna go down. I'm like, okay, whatever. And obviously, like, I'm not gonna say there's like a push for equity, obviously, and as I think it should be, but I think there should be. But sometimes it's also done in the wrong way, okay? But obviously, like, I'm not gonna go into details. There, like, we know cases, obviously, that are not done like correctly, but it's better than not having these types of laws put in place. By far, okay. The problem with the creative industry, as such as of video games, right, is that you can't get cheap labor. You can't get cheap labor and expect the games to be the same, okay? Because there's no, like, it's not a line work job. It's not a line. How do you say, like, it's not a line factory, right? It's not you're not building automobiles here. Like, it's not a set job that you do the same thing over and over. It's a creative process that you need people to get their minds out and actually work like together and be creative to get you good games and amazing games. And like, what people are expecting in the tech industry is that, like, or in the video games industry, is that this law will help them settle for, you know, jobs that pay less and hire people that cost less to get. Inside America, obviously. I'm not talking about freelancing and like you know, like all around the place, over the like faraway jobs like that are like freelancing, but I'm talking about people that are working on site in America. And like obviously in this situation you want qualified people, again, regardless of race, regardless of gender. Like doesn't, like you can't discriminate here, because you want people that are qualified for the job. When I say qualified, I don't mean with the diploma on their hands. I mean people that obviously have proven to be good at their jobs, okay? And with them, like, repelling this act that goes all the way back to 1969, I can see games, you know, going down a hard path in the next 4 years. Like, development will take a hit if you're hiring people because they're cheaper and not because they're good. And it's gonna suck. Okay, it's gonna suck. And this number that we're seeing right here, like the 11% of game developers were laid off in the past year, it's gonna go up. It's not gonna be good. Which, you know, like it's a great, it's great news, right? Obviously, like it's fucking awful news overall. And it's just like with all, like I couldn't care. Like I work with social media. I couldn't care less about TikTok, but I know it's like it's cool. Like I know a lot of people like it. I couldn't care less about Marvel Snap, even though I love play that game. But like it's so much shit that's stacking up that I'm like, what the fuck, man? What? Like it's and I'm not even in America. Like I'm in fucking Portugal where nothing happens, and I know this is gonna hit us as well. Death by 1,000 paper cuts. Slashes of X. Jesus Christ. Like I hope, like I hope I'm so wrong, you know. Like I never wish to be wrong. So much, so like I never wish to be wrong so much in my life. That's how it goes. But yeah, like good luck, man. Like if you're going into game development right now, good luck. Like you're gonna need it a lot, actually. And like with companies doing shit like, you know, what Sony is doing and betting on live services, with publishers, you know, maybe not being able to launch games from outside the country, with prices going up. Woohoo! That's gonna be some. I'm sensing Reagan era shit levels of shenanigans. You know, you know, it is what it is. We're gonna change subject because like I don't want this stream to be a downer. And let's do a game highlight. You know, we're here for games, so yeah. And I'm gonna show you guys a game that I saw this week. It's already out and I need to try it. But some of you know I'm a big fan of Tony Hawk. So I saw Hellskate. Okay. Swag games, exactly. Hellskate is out. It's a roguelike skateboarding hack and slash game. I'm gonna get copyright struck in this stream, right? Yeah, this is what's gonna happen. Should I put this louder? No exchange for any chance. In the mischief, all the panic can make you misclick that handle when your line of sight is damaged, but the skyline hasn't vanished. A psycho bandit can't recognize. This looks pretty good. This looks so much like the first level from Tony Hawk's 2 or 1, I think. There's bosses. You cannot see, that's right. You cannot see. Because I was in the... There we go. That means we're gonna have to check the trailer again. There you go. I would like to... There you go. So yeah, there you go. It's a roguelike skateboarding game with hack and slash elements. That looks pretty dope, man. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's really like the premise sells itself, right? Like, you're into Hades, you're into Tony Hawk. What about you combine the two? Let's go. I wish... Sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't, and I don't get it. Okay then. You have bosses that, you know, like, it's a fucking skull. Reminds me of Dark Souls. You know, looks colorful. I might give it a shot. It really looks like the warehouse level from Tony Hawk, right? Like, if you look... There was a level here. There was a level here that was exactly... That was it. There you go. Yeah. It does look like the warehouse level from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. You know, customizable. Has a pretty cool aesthetic, I'd say. Is it too loud for you guys? Soundtrack might be also dope. Not sure if there's like a lot of songs like more in the punk vein, but you know, trailer music is cool. I might give it a shot after I play I might give it a shot after I finish Disco Elysium, which hopefully will be this week. If I don't get if I don't get stuck again on the game. Jeez. But yeah, Hell's Gate out now. It's 1749 euros with the discount price. Ends 31. Ends in 2 weeks. I'm not mistaken, exactly. Ends Friday next week. So if you want to get it game for less 7 euros, there you go. Cool. Hell's Gate, right? Moving on to other news. Sega has launched Sega Account, an online profile with in-game bonuses. I don't have like a lot of thoughts in this. I thought it was interesting because they are giving obviously a unique outfit for like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza, you know why. And you know, there's a lot of accounts. There's a lot of like games that ask you to have an account adjacent to them. Right now, you can connect the Sega account into your Switch, your Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam, with Epic Games following up like soon. Hey Paulo, welcome to the stream. Don't worry, better late than never. And I think like if this is obviously gonna be like tied into their live service stuff that's coming out, like the Crazy Taxi, the Jet Set Radio, and all that. and hopefully it's not mandatory. That's the only thing that I ask, you know, like, because it's another service that you're gonna have to be registered for playing games, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, what if they shut down the service like 2 years from now, and I can't play those games anymore? But if this is what you want to do, I think this is the right way to do it. Like, you get an account, like, hey, I got you guys an account, you know, and if you play Sega games, you don't need to, but you can sign up for them, and you get cool shit. And if you get cool shit without being mandating, you know, without being mandated for you to get this account, I think it's a cool way to go. So GG Sega. That's how you do it. Right now, like, there's 2 games that support it. Like, it's gonna be the Pirate of Yakuza and Phantasy Star Online 2. Which I totally forgot that game was out. I'm not gonna lie. Which I was so hyped when they announced it, and then I totally forgot, and I never played it more than 2 hours. But it's the only 2 games that have this account thing right now. But probably more to come, you know. In more weird news, Silksong might make an appearance. You guys remember Silksong? Yeah, Silksong, right? Like that Hollow Knight sequel apparently is alive and well, hopefully. And so is the team. So is the team. At least the one that posted this on their Twitter account, for all we care. So like one of the Hollow Knight Team Cherry devs posted this cake on their Twitter account. They posted a tweet that seemingly predicts a Switch 2 announcement while using a profile picture of some cake taken from a recipe book that was published April 2nd, 2024, which is exactly a year before April 2nd, 2025. That was a weird sentence that they wrote. It's a year before 2nd April 2025. I never seen Americans write the date like this, which is so weird. Which is the date of the Nintendo Direct teased in Switch 2 announcement. So I think they confirmed it. Like, this is probably a thing, right? But I really find it funny when online communities take a single credit or a single image or a single line and they dissect that line to be like, oh, this is gonna happen, it's finally happening. Which is also funny because apparently Schreier was also right. The Schreier said we will see Silksong. It did not say they were gonna launch Silksong, but Schreier said we would have news of Silksong this year, and turns out there they were. I don't know. Like, I'm really curious to see what Silksong is. To be honest, like I don't understand how a Hollow Knight sequel takes. They announced in 2019, so they had. I don't get how a game like that takes 6 years to make, or a sequel for Hollow Knight takes 6 years to make. I'm not saying like it's a bad omen for Silksong at all, but it's also kind of weird, you know, that they took so long, and especially like because they've been so radio silent lately. Apart from this piece of cake that they posted it, because let me tell you, if it's 6 years in development, that development was probably not a piece of cake. Yeah, Silksong in April. We'll see what. Like, it's probably gonna release on Switch 2, you know, the sequel to the Nintendo Switch. It is a very small team, that's true, but it's kind of worrying that their last post before this was in 2022. And hopefully they're well. Like, hopefully the development went smoothly. But it's kind of weird, you know. It's kind of weird. to say that. Definitely weird. Hopefully it's good. You know, like I loved Hollow Knight. I think it's cool. I think it's a pretty good game. Hopefully the sequel lives up to the hype, to say the least. If not, it's a little bit better than Hollow Knight. That's my wish. I'm gonna jump this one first because no, stop. Google Chrome, what the fuck? What are you doing? I'm gonna jump on this first because Resident Evil 2 remake has sold fewer than 10,000 copies on iOS, estimate suggests. This report comes from mobilegamer.biz. They have like a tracking app for the mobile devices. It says that while the Resident Evil 2 remake is initially free download on iOS, only offers a limited sample of the main game, and so players can ensure it works on their device. In order to unlock the full game, people need to make an in-app purchase, which was first $10, but then it jumped up to $40 back in January 9. Okay. According to the App Magic data, the app made Capcom around $95,000, which is not much. So 9,500 players. So for €10, $10, I think. And another 7,000 after January 9, which means 175 players bought Resident Evil Remake 2 on the iOS. Which, you know, like, I have such conflicting feelings about all of this. About, you know, gaming. I'm obviously old. I'm obviously an old head, and playing games on phones, it's kind of weird to me. But I can see how mobile gaming is such a big part of gaming right now. And I'm not saying like, oh, mobile games, like those aren't real games. Like, mobile games are real games, obviously. It's just weird for me that I don't think I would like to have the Resident Evil experience on my phone. And it's not about the vibe, it's not about the, oh, it's a horror game, like you should play it like on a big screen and like with lights down. It's just like, it's the comfort of having my phone on my hands, right? Like you get the phone like this and you're playing Resident Evil, and you know, now you have all those attachments that you can use like as a gamepad, obviously, but you're playing on an underpowered system. You're draining your battery. So if you're out in the wild, if you're out of your house, you are going to drain the battery that could be used for, you know, calling other people, or in an emergency. You can use the phone to call. I know it's weird. No one uses the phone to call anymore, but some people actually do. Like I don't see this like being like the greatest experience for a Resident Evil game. And I think people need to realize a little bit that mobile gaming is a thing. I'm not saying there isn't. Again, we talked about Marvel Snap back then, in a few minutes back, and we talked about you know, other mobile games. There's another guy that some of us know, like Xpop is developing another mobile game on his own time, and it's fine. I've played pretty cool games on my phone. Monument Valley comes to mind. The Alto's Adventures. I can see those being like it's experiences that are tailored to your mobile devices, right? I'm currently playing Mario Kart Tour and Balatro on my phone, and those are games that you play very well. I don't think I want to play a story heavy game, especially with like some action combat on my phone. You know, like and again, this is a me thing. If you are one of those perverts that like to play Resident Evil on your phone, like, please, sure, like, do your thing, but stay away from me. But I think, like, real talk, like, I think developers should look into this data and be like, First, yeah, a $10 jump to 40. It's quite a lot. It's quite a leap. Okay, and a lot of mobile gaming habits. It's people playing free games on the phone, right? Like I said, I was playing Mario Kart Tour. Roblox is played a lot on mobile devices. Fortnite as well. It's another one. But people are used to spending less on a full gaming experience and more used to small microtransactions that are optional, right? Which means that like if you're gonna launch a $40 game on a mobile device, like for as good as it runs, because apparently it runs kind of well, although from initial reports I heard it gets your device kind of hot, which I don't know what people were expecting. Like obviously it gets your device kind of hot. You're pushing the limits of a freaking phone, right? I don't think like most people would go, like the general consumer would not go for a AAA game on their phone. And yeah, like it's weird. I don't know, like I'm not completely surprised by this type of reporting. Again, if this is a strategy they're trying to get, like obviously handheld gaming is a thing, and the Switch, I think the Switch proves it. And there's people that rather buy an iPhone. What are we, 17 now, 16, whatever. If the people buy the next iPhone and they're like, oh, I can actually play Resident Evil here, but they don't want to buy a Switch because they're not like, you know, the biggest gamers, or they're more like a casual gamer. I can see them like, oh yeah, cool, I can just play this game here, and maybe in the comfort of my own house, without needing a dedicated device, I can just experience this. But overall, I don't see those people also caring for this experience in particular. You know, like they said, like previous month they had suggested that ports of Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage all had similar slow launches. Like I don't see myself playing any of these games on my phone, or anyone, to be honest. Like so yeah, not really surprised on this article. In a couple of news, we talked about this last week. AAA mobile games, that's true. Like Resident Evil 2 remake sold poorly. Not you know, not totally surprised. Because most people don't want to play this on their phones. But moving on, like I'm so surprised by this by a couple of reasons. That Final Fantasy Rebirth is coming out on PC, and I think it's today. Actually, I think it's today, January 23rd. It's out. Final Fantasy VII. My Chrome is dying as well, but Final Fantasy is out. And what I'm most like surprised about is that it runs on the Steam Deck. It's Steam Deck verified. You are pushing it now. Okay. You are pushing it a little bit, like Chrome, and please stop. Okay. Let me see if I have this thing here. Okay, let's do it here and close this. Final Fantasy running on the Steam Deck. Jedi Power Battles is also out, that's true. Does it run on a Steam Deck though? Yeah, like I'm honestly, this game running on this particular device, obviously it's going to be like with DLSS, and you're not going to get the same experience that you're going to have if you're playing this with a 4090 all cranked up to the max, right? But you know, you can take the train and play Final Fantasy VII remake. carrying Final Fantasy with you in your pocket. In your pocket, I mean, it's kind of hard, I guess. Steam Deck is quite large, but you can carry it on your backpack, I guess, or in your pouch for some reason. Again, I don't see me playing Final Fantasy VII on a train or in the subway, mostly because I also fear for for people getting my Steam Deck out of my hands. But you can, and it's out. And to celebrate that, Square Enix launched a Final Fantasy VII. If I now find it, I'm fucking I hate. I had this ready. They launched this. It's so cool. Oh yeah, and in a special screen as well. They launched this Chocobo, fluffy Chocobo Steam Deck. Look, they also say we don't advise trying to wrap high-tech gaming gear in fur, which actually sounds like a good advice. But we felt this was a perfect way of celebrating Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming to PC and being Steam Deck verified. And you know what? I want one. That's it. Like, I think this is so stupid. I think this looks so dumb that I want one right now. So I can have it like on display. Like, I'm not gonna, like they said, like I'm not gonna put this around my Steam Deck. Because I can see these actually overheating as fuck. But again, it's stupid. I love it. Okay. And speaking of Final Fantasy, weird piece of news hit this week where Pharrell Williams led the Louis Vuitton event for their winter fall collection. I'm not the biggest fan of Louis Vuitton, although I do like a little bit of haute couture. I always mess that word up. And Pharrell decided to play One Winged Angel. I'm gonna get copyright struck, but I don't care. As the opening song for the ceremony. And mind you, this is not recorded. This is not a recording. This is actually a live band playing One Winged Angel at a Louis Vuitton show. So, video games, right? Holy heck. We've come so far. It's crazy. Like, if you guys told me like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you're like, oh yeah, like Louis Vuitton is gonna show their new winter fall collection, and we're gonna play Final Fantasy theme songs with a live orchestra. I was like, that drug is hitting pretty hard right now. I think you should go. I think you should rest. But it's real. It's happening. It happened, actually. I was so like, what the fuck is going on? Makes sense. Like, so Pharrell, we know Pharrell for a fact. He's a big nerd. And this is not a pun with this band, nerd. But we know he's a big nerd, and like, I'm not surprised that he likes Final Fantasy. I'm surprised they let them play Final Fantasy at a Louis Vuitton show. It's so weird, like, collection also seems kind of nice, but it's definitely not for my pockets. There's how do I say this? There's a weird mismatch between my tastes and my wallet, so I can't seem to find like a middle ground between both of them. It's like, yeah, there you go, like Louis Vuitton and Final Fantasy. Lastly, we're gonna go into this last piece of news, and if you guys have any questions, and I mean any questions, you can post them in chat or you can post them on the Discord if you guys want to hop in there. And there's a section for you guys to send news, send questions, and indie game highlights. For you guys to, if you guys want me to react to those. But the last news that I have here, it's actually an old piece of news, but it ties in with the Switch 2 compatibility thing. Okay. And it's, we probably know the games that are not working on the Switch 2 natively. Okay. And those are the 1-2 switch, because it has a minigame with infrared, because the new Joy-Cons don't have the infrared. Nintendo Labo, Game Builder Garage. So like you use the IR thing for building games with the Game Builder Garage. If you guys don't remember this, like you can do games like Rock Paper Scissors, and the sensor will detect the hand shape, for instance, or more advanced stuff. But you people know that I'm not as smart of a coder. I'm not as smart, period. So yeah, Ring Fit Adventure, that checks your heart rate. There's a couple of ones here that I totally forgot. Resident Evil Revelations, you can reload the gun by covering the sensor, and that's pretty dope, you know. And I do believe like this game will still work on the Switch too, because there's probably like an alternative way of reloading the sensor. Reloading the gun, not the sensor. Spy Alarm, which is a shovelware. Night Vision, which is also shovelware. Like, so I'm not gonna miss those. Like, fine. Brain Agent Dr. Kawashima's brain training. So some mini games can sense hand motions, and like it also uses IR sensors for that. Smile Basic 4. I don't even know what this is. Like, what the hell? But there's a programming software that, yeah, you can use IR sensors optionally. Ninjala. I forgot Ninjala uses the IR sensor to scan for cosmetics, and this was more, I don't think we ever gotten those here. I think it was more Japan. I don't know if US got it. And I don't even know what this is. Vitamin Collection. Used to interact with the maze mechanic via distance calculations. I don't... There's actually one game missing from this list, which is the SCG SGC, my bad. Games Collection for Switch. Short Games Collection, exactly. This game has... so this is made by a Portuguese team called Nerd Monkeys, and it's a pack of, I believe, 6 games. The Good Time Garden, which, by the way, Good Time Garden is by the same devs that made Thank Goodness You're Here, that came out last year. It's pretty good. Good Time Garden is a little bit weirder, but and you can finish like in 30 minutes. Again, it's a short games collection. Swallow the Sea, a game literally about doing your taxes. It's literally about doing your taxes. Ghostine, I hope I'm saying that wrong. And Uranus. Uranus was the weirdest one for me, which is, let me see if they have an image here. So this is like Good Time Garden. Swallow the Sea, which is like a weird, I guess, adventure game. Kind of like a Metroidvania, but like really short scoped. Taxes, a game about literally doing your taxes. And Uranus is a multiplayer 3D snake game where you leave a trail of your own color to damage the opponent's eye winged thing that I don't even know what this is. Okay, but it's you rotate around this globe. It's completely psychedelic, and if you're an epileptic, I don't recommend this game at all. But I think it was pretty fun. I think it was one of those weird games that I looked at like, yeah, this is actually kind of neat, but it's also hurting my eyes. And this is Ghosteen, where it's like a stealth game where you play a little kid living a World War II prison camp with the help of his father's ghost. That's it. But there's a sixth game that's hidden. Let me see if I can find it here. Short games collection. It's probably just in Portuguese websites. There you go. It's not like particularly fantastic. There's a hidden minigame in this short games collection that you need to press the Konami code into the main screen, and it will give you this dead man switch that uses the IR sensor as a finger sensor. So you need to stay calm to defuse the bomb, and you need to keep your finger pressed on the sensor. So yeah, it's the other game that's probably not gonna work. In the meantime, you guys have any questions? You said Hyper Light Breakers. Dare you? Is that a question? You want me to react to Hyper Light Breakers? Is that it? I'm confused now. Oh, you want me to play it? Okay, I'm not gonna play it on stream though. Like, cause actually, one, I don't have time, because we're gonna go into a short break. We're gonna go into a short break in a few moments. Because we're gonna call Roof Fox then, and actually watch the Xbox Direct. And I also need to stop a little bit to go to do things that I can only do myself, you know. That means going to the bathroom. Hyper Light Breaker, it's out now. Came out January 14th of this year. It's the sequel to Hyper Light Drifter. Let's check this out. Join the Breakers. This is a roguelike, right? So kind of like the Hyper Light Breaker, but with like on the 3D world. Okay. Game looks pretty, man. Like I love Hyper Light Breaker. Hyper Light Drifter. My God, I'm gonna mix those games. But I really like that art style, and seeing it translated for like a third dimension like so well. I was doubting a little bit, I remember. So yeah, Hyper Light Breaker. It's out. It's how much is it? It's not $28.99. Can't be. It's not $28.99. Can't you just buy the breaker? Okay, that's kind of weird. You can get it for $19.99 on Steam. It's $29.99. Okay. Or you're talking about Instant Gaming. I don't have an affiliate link, but if you guys want an affiliate link for Instant Gaming, you can get Augustus Instant Gaming. Wife says hi. Say hi to your wife. You can follow August and go through his link to Instant Gaming. But yeah, you can get it cheaper. Okay. That's kind of cool.
Hi everyone. Michael
Cheaper games, always nice.
Other
Other than that, like, yeah, I realize I'm not showing the game. I realize I was not showing it.
Breaker the best it can be before it enters early access. And we want to thank all of you for your patience and
You're feeling bad? Why?
over the years.
Why are you feeling bad? Like, doesn't make any sense.
Early access will mark just the beginning for our players. Throughout early access, we'll be adding a ton of content and getting your feedback to help evolve Breaker across the board. Before early access begins, we'd like to share.
Oh no, like don't get me the wrong way. Like obviously, like I'm always glad to help a friend, but also I don't have affiliate links, and if people can get games a little bit cheaper, it's a win-win, right? You get a little bit of promotion. People get games for less money.
The Breakers are an elite organization who have the daunting task of restoring civilization after a huge world-destroying war. Your mission is to explore the overgrowth.
Do you have? Can you send me a link with the affiliate thing?
Building and establishing order as you set out to destroy the Crown's leader, the Abyss King, who rules the overgrowth.
To my DMs.
The Crowns know the secret of the curse within the overgrowth, and it'll be up to you and the rest
And I'll post it here. I don't think you can. Yeah, sure.
Previous games, Hyperlight Drifter and Solar Ash, exploration has been the heart and soul of our world design since the very beginning of Hyperlight Breaker's development. It's all about exploring the overgrowth to the fullest, while collecting unique gear to create different builds and destroying hordes of enemies to get one step closer to
Would you say this is a better game for
overcoming the Crowns and the Abyss.
co-op and playing with other people, or would you say this is a better game for, or you can play this game solo?
Where you'll carry out your mission to defeat the
Usually that part is important for me because my schedules are usually all over the place.
needed to open the
It's hard. That's hard solo. Okay. So yeah, if you want the game, you can get this through this link, and it's cheaper there.
enemies.
And you are also helping Augusto there in chat.
Playthroughs, so you'll never see the same world twice. Explore the overgrowth to the fullest. And
This
see
looks
what
cool.
Or even who you can find in each run. With the Abyss King's control,
Fortnite in space.
prepare to face hordes of deadly enemies and brutal challenges.
It's kind of, it's not really Fortnite because it's also like it's the roguelite nature, right? You got hoverboards. You can't go wrong with hoverboards. If that's one thing that Back to the Future taught us, it's that hoverboards are cool.
Make it back to base in one piece. Once you're back,
In the meantime, let me check Discord, and I think that's it. I think this is it for the show today. Let me send any game they like. Oh, there's a highlight I want you guys to see, because as you guys know, like I'm always in the look for weird games with weird looks. Okay. And I want you guys to see this because I saw this artwork and thought, holy shit, this looks cool. I don't even know what this game is. But this is Zeizen. It's not out. It's only coming next year. But it's a point and click, ultra violent point and click game set in Shanghai, China. And oh my god, I love this artwork. Look at this. This was recommended to me by Canelo from former Glitch. And yeah, like this game looks pretty dope, man. As soon as I saw this art style, I'm like, yeah, I'm down for this. I might play this. But it's only coming out next year. However, they have Critters for Sale, which is their previous game. Experience death from the comfort of your seat. And again, it's a point and click game with like pretty weird art style. I guess this like throws off a lot of people. But yeah, Critters for Sale. It's out it's out like for a long time, because I think it came out in 2021. That's it. But it's weird, you know. And I think sometimes we should give these games that look weirder a little bit. I don't need to. I know Augusto doesn't like horror games, but I think we should look at this game sometimes and be like, these guys are trying something extremely different and completely removed from the AAA space. And I just find that interesting, that like creativity runs in like so many ways. Okay, so I like to give these games a little bit of a shout out. Anyway, I think this is the show. If you're around, like, stick around, because we're gonna do a small break and then look at the Microsoft showcase. Okay, but this edition of the podcast, so like we're 3 episodes in, guys. So yeah, 3 episodes. I've managed to do 3 episodes without changing my schedule and without fucking up anything, which is good. Okay, so I'm gonna take a small break. I'm gonna come back after that break to call Rufox, and we're gonna see Xbox. F-word again. Yeah, it's PG-13. Yeah, this is gonna do it for the show. We're gonna play the song here, and if you're watching on YouTube, you know, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff that no one likes to do anymore. Leave a comment. Leave a small comment with a smiley face if you're looking if you're listening to this podcast on YouTube. And we'll all see you next week. No. Bye.